people are ignorant of it. And it's that ignorance that causes so much problems today. If you don't know who Israel is, if you don't know what became of them, then first of all you believe in the church replacement theology that's going on today, that the church has replaced Israel. That is a bold-faced lie. The church has not replaced Israel. Okay? If the church has replaced Israel, then Jehovah is a liar. Okay, so that's the second time I've called Jehovah a liar today. He's not. Who's the liar? Men are. Or Satan is, the father of all lies. So you're teaching from the tree of good and evil. So we're going to try and get back to that tree of the truth and stick to it and follow it through. And we're going to go on some rabbit trails today. And the rabbit trails are so interesting. So I hope you enjoy this. And because I've got some notes here, I may be squinting, so this is my first time presenting it, so give me a lot of slack. Okay? Yeah. So Israel became a nation in 1379 BC. Now that's in the Prophecy of Abraham book that you got. And 1379 BC is when they went and came across the Red Sea. Once they exited Egypt, they became a nation. 1337 BC is when they crossed the Jordan River. Okay? 42 years after the Exodus. Right? That's that Exodus, or Numbers 10, 11 that we talked about yesterday. So the land of Israel was promised to the descendants of Abraham. And Abraham was given that promise in 1809 BC when the covenant was made. Okay? So this is how many, 430 years later, they crossed the Red Sea. Now some believe this is what the promise includes, right? We showed you this the other day when I was talking about the anniversary of Israel's Israel Day. So this is what they believe it to be. The Davidic Empire was only this though. Okay, now David's empire is the part that most people don't know about. And I was going to actually go down that rabbit trail starting right now. But I thought, no, I may save that for another time. And David's empire went around the world. David didn't have monuments. He didn't have statues of himself. But he used to send out ships from Tyre that would go up and circumnavigate and come back to Israel 3 years later. That's how long it took them to make their circuit. He had colonies set up. Oh, let's just do that little rabbit trail right now. One of the colonies that was set up came up the Mississippi River, and I don't have a map of this, comes up the Mississippi River. One of the branches of Mississippi is the Ohio, and at the Ohio, it goes up and it branches into 3 rivers. Okay? So that's someplace in, well, what they call it now is Indian Mounds. Okay, so I've gone to Indian Mounds, I've looked at it, I got some statues back from there that they had, and the statues have on there the 10 Commandments. So some guy was practicing the 10 Commandments and he got it wrong. You can see where he cheeked it out. But he's doing the 10 Commandments in Paleo-Hebrew. So we have Indian Mounds in Ohio with this Paleo-Hebrew writing buried in the Hebrew Mounds. This stuff is excavated in the 1800s. What's it doing there? These are colonies that King David had set up, because what did King David do? He built the temple. Or he didn't build the temple, he stocked up for the temple. And they got the copper for the temple from northern Michigan. Lake Superior has pure copper. Still there today, and all they had to do was hack it out of the ground. They bring it down to Ohio and ship it out by ship down the Mississippi to the Gulf back over here. Another country called Brazil. Okay? The main letters BZL. The Hebrew letters mean iron. Brazil is a Hebrew word for iron. And Brazil today is still the iron capital of the world. That was part of his empire. And he came back. And Solomon expanded on that. Anyway, so this is what the world believes to be his empire today.
May I ask you a question?
Yep.
How did they know it was copper in Michigan?
Well, because they were go exploring back then.
Were they exploring then already
Yeah.
the New World?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's 1000 BC, they're already exploring the New World. Okay.
Well, how come then when, I forget who it was, went over to North America, he thought he was in India, and that's why they called them Indians.
Yeah.
And that was years and years
That was
later. Why did they not know about the history of them going over
Okay.
there?
You have this trade and you have this wealth that you can't really protect because you can't create an army over there and protect your kingdom here as well. And we got all these fighting going on here because King David destroyed the Assyrians as they were starting to come up. And it was because of that destruction that they didn't come back for another 300-400 years, that King David did. So you keep these secrets a secret. So one of the myths, and this comes out later when the Israelites ended up in Gargamish in North Africa, that they told the Greeks and the Romans that if you go out through the Pillars of Hercules, which is Gibraltar, if you go through that, you will fall off the edge of the world. And they believed it. So they would sail around the Mediterranean, but they would never go out that exit for fear of falling off the edge of the world. And all the sea monsters that are out there and all this stuff, and they piped it up. And it worked. It kept them inside that Mediterranean. But the Israelites would go out, come back with all this wealth.
Wow.
So that's one rabbit trail, and I didn't go down there today because we're going to do some other stuff that's going to sort of accentuate that a little bit. Anyway, when Solomon died, this is what happened when he died. The kingdom is divided in half. Okay, this is 930 BC. So we've got the northern kingdom, 10 tribes. We got the southern kingdom of 2 tribes, and then Levi sort of splits up in between the north and the south. But the thing is to remember when we look at this is that this is the kingdom of Judah. These are the Jews. That's the dominant tribe. This is the 10 northern tribes of Israel. That is Israel. This is Judah. That is Israel. This is Judah. Israel got the name of Israel. Ephraim got the name of Israel. It's very important that you understand that. Judah is part of Israel. It's the same as all Ontario people are Canadians, but not all Canadians are Ontarians. You understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Newfoundlanders are Newfies, but that's not all of Canada. That's only one part of Canada. This is one part of Israel, but the Israel name went with that tribe, the northern 10 tribes. So that's important to understand. Okay, so now the other thing is, you read in the Bible that Israel went to war against the Jews.
Yeah.
It says Israel was fighting the Jews were fighting Israel a number of times. It tells you we're talking about 2 different peoples here. Okay, so you got 2 distinct groups, and it's important to understand that. Now, here's the 10 tribes. Here's where they're broken down into Reuben, Gad, Manasseh. Manasseh has got 2 shares. And then we got Naphtali, Asher, Zebulun, Issachar. Ephraim's here, Dan's here. Now Dan moved from there and went up north. Judah, Benjamin right there. Benjamin's got Jerusalem. Okay? Benjamin is the brother of Joseph, and Joseph is Ephraim and Manasseh. Right? And here's Judah and here's Simeon. So that's the way they sort of set up in Israel. This is very important because this is, as we're going to go back, we're about to go back. Okay, I just want to bring you up to speed here about this a little bit, and then we're going to go back. So, the southern tribe of Judah is Simeon and Levi. Notice Levi has no land here because they're in with all the other tribes. And Benjamin. The northern tribes are all those ones. Okay? And so when we're talking about the 10 lost tribes, these are the 10 lost tribes that we're talking about. So we're going to go back now, Genesis 4. How do we identify who they are? It starts in Genesis. How do I identify them? And see, the word of Jehovah came to him saying, this one is not your heir. So it's talking about Abraham, Jehovah talking to Abraham, who thinks that Ishmael is his heir. This one is not your heir, but he who comes from your own body is your heir, meaning through Sarah. And he brought him outside and said, look now forward toward the heavens and count the stars if you're able to count them. And he said, so are your seed. The seed of Abraham is to be as numerous as the stars. So these people that are around the world that claim to be part of the tribes of the 10 lost tribes of Israel, like the Manasseh in India, or the Ethiopians, or some other groups of people, do they match this description? That's what you got to ask. Not really.
You don't?
No. You can number them.
Oh, you can number.
They're not that great a number that somebody can't count them.
Okay.
Okay? But the descendants of Abraham, as you will see,
Yeah.
are so numerable. It's unbelievable. And I shall make you a great nation, and bless you, and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. And I shall bless those who bless you, and curse those who curse you, and in you all the clans of the earth shall be blessed. So his descendants are going to be involved in all the nations somehow. Are the Manasseh in India involved with all the nations?
No.
So this rules them out. Are the Ethiopians involved with all the nations? This rules them out. Okay? So now, who's left? Well, we haven't figured that out yet. Genesis 15:16. Then in the fourth generation, now this is important for you to know, in the fourth generation they shall return here, for the crookedness of the Amorites is not yet complete. Jehovah made his covenant with Abraham in 2028. So 2028 is right there at the top of this orange line. The third millennial day starts there and comes down, and the fourth one starts there. So this is the millennial day, starting with the creation of Adam. Do you understand that? So, on the fourth millennial day, at the beginning of the fourth millennial day, Jehovah said, in the fourth generation, they shall return here, for the crookedness of the Amorites is not yet complete. That word generation can also be said fourth day, or fourth period of time. Okay? So in the fourth period of time, the fourth millennial day, so this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. At the end of the fourth millennial day, right? The fourth millennial day ends at 5880. We today are at 5848. 5848. We are in the last. Each of these things is a Jubilee cycle. So that's the first Jubilee cycle. This is the 20th Jubilee cycle. That makes up one millennial day. In my newsletter, each week I tell you what year we're in. We are in the year 5848.
There's more people coming in.
Do you see how close we are to the end? That should give you goosebumps. That means that this is the millennium. So if this is the millennium, and most people say that we're in the millennium by saying this is 6011 or 6012, which is not true, then we're already in the millennium. But we're not back in the land yet. So that gives me goosebumps, and that motivates me to do what I'm doing. Come on in, folks. Okay, I'm just gonna repeat this part here for you. Genesis 15:16, the fourth generation. Now, fourth generation can also be read as a fourth period of time. This is the covenant that was made with Abraham, and he made that in 2028. I know you're jumping right in, and all of a sudden, right off the street, boom.
That's
So,
our fault.
that's
Sorry.
okay. 2028 is when that covenant was made. At the beginning of this is a millennial day. And in the fourth period of time, is what this actually does say, the fourth period of time brings you to this time here. At the end of the fourth day, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're at the year 5845. No.
48.
58, 48. That shows you how close we are to the end of this day. Right? All this stuff is going to happen during that time. This time remaining. So all the prophecies in the Bible are about to take place in this lifetime that we're in right now. That's why this is so keen to understand when you get this. Right? It's so awesome. I won't repeat it because Gabe already knows it. Okay?
Thanks.
So just so you know, we're talking about the 10 lost tribes. We're going to explain where they went, who they are. We just explained that Israel is the northern 10 tribes. Judah is the southern 3 tribes. Israel fought against the Jews. It says in Kings, right? And Chronicle. Why do I have trouble saying it? Chronicles. Why am I having trouble saying that there? Chronologies. Chronologies is what I keep trying to say. Okay, so we're just explaining who these tribes are, and we're going to follow them through history. Genesis 17:5. And no longer is your name called Abram, but your name shall be Abraham, because I shall make you a father of many nations. So here's the next promise. He's going to be the father of many nations. Not just groups of people. Not just tribes, but nations. Many nations. And I shall make, excuse me. And I shall make you bear fruit exceedingly and make nations of you. Now here, again, more nations. And sovereigns. Now we're being told kings. He's going to have nations come from him and kings come from him. So you know, these little things people just read over are huge if you stop and look at them. Jehovah does not mince his words. If you take each one, they have super huge meanings. And I shall establish my covenant between me and you and your seed after you in their generations, for an everlasting covenant, to be Elohim to you and your seed after you. I shall give to you and to your seed after you the land of your sojournings, all the land of Canaan, as an everlasting possession, and I shall be their Elohim. And yet the church, who believes that God has replaced them with Israel, doesn't want to go and take over that land. Right? Genesis 13:16. And I shall make your seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man could count the dust of the earth, then your seed also could be counted. The dust of the earth. How big is that? Does that include, do the Manasseh in India match that up? Do the Ethiopians match that? Right? These are the things you got to compare what's going on with what this stuff is saying. It doesn't match. Now Abram gave all that he had to Isaac. But to the sons of the concubines who Abram had, Abram gave gifts while he was still living, and sent them away from his son Isaac eastward to the land to the east. So he had other children. He sent them away. This guy is going to get everything. So they just went away with what they had in their pocket. Genesis 22:16. Jehovah said, by myself I have sworn, declares Jehovah, because you have done this. This is when Abram offered Isaac as a sacrifice. And have not withheld your son, your only son, that I shall certainly bless you, and I shall certainly increase your seed as the stars of heaven. So there it is again. And as the sand, which is on the seashore. So there's that one. Now they're being included together. And let your seed possess the gate of their enemies. And you. So here's something new now. What is the gate of your enemies? So this is being now he's been offered the gates of his enemies. Start thinking, what is that?
It's like,
And in your seed, all the nations of the earth shall be blessed. So there's that blessing again being repeated. Because you have obeyed my voice.
Oh, it's not there.
Sorry?
Aren't they 126 or 22:16?
Pardon me?
Did you say Genesis 22:16?
I said 22, 16, 17, 18. Yeah.
It's not there.
Yes, I know.
Oh, okay, I thought maybe because of
I got notes here. So I'm
Oh,
just-
okay, all right.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking for it, I can see
This
it.
is a test to see if you're thinking, if you're awake.
Well, for the moment I did.
You passed. So let your seed possess the gate of their enemies. What are the gates? What are the world gates?
Suez,
Suez
Gibraltar.
Gibraltar, Suez Canal,
Panama Canal.
Panama Canal. What else?
Cape
The
Horn.
strait through the China Sea there, whatever that one's
How
called.
about Cape Horn?
Suez Canal.
Strait of Hormuz. Where's Hormuz?
Suez
Oh, that's the.
Iran's on the
Yes,
other side of
that's right.
it, yeah.
Who controls that?
England at one time. all the-
US has got their fleet in there right now.
Who's controlling it?
US.
US.
The Iranians own the one side, and the Arabs own the other, but who controls
US.
it? Okay? What other straits are there? What other gates are there?
Bering Strait,
The what? The Bering Strait?
to Canada,
Yeah. Who controls that?
America.
Russia and US.
Okay. What about land gates? When Adam and Eve, we talked about this yesterday, when Adam and Eve were put out of the Garden of Eden, they went through a gate, the eastern gate. What was it? It was 2 mountain peaks and a valley in between, and they walked through that valley. That's a gate. Okay? So, a gate is a passageway. Who controls one of the main gates of the world? Judah. What's that gate? Asia, Africa, Europe, and they all pass through that area, right? Now, they don't control all that area now, but if they ever control their empire, like I showed at the beginning, they do control all that points. So when you see these land gates or sea gates, certain people control them. That's a blessing. So you got to figure out who that is. Genesis 26:3. No, it's not up here on the screen. Sojourn in this land. So now Jehovah is talking to Isaac. Isaac was thinking of leaving, but Jehovah is telling him, sojourn in this land, and I shall be with you and bless you. For I give all these lands to you and your seed. And I shall establish the oath which I swore to Abram your father. And I shall increase your seed like the stars of the heavens. So there's the promise again. Okay? And I shall give all these lands to your seed, and in your seed all the nations, and so now it's not just nations, but all the nations of the earth shall be blessed. Do the Chinese bless all the nations of the world? Do the Russians? Do the Filipinos? Who does?
America,
Anyone else?
Canada,
Who?
Canada,
Okay. Anyone else?
England would be.
England? Yeah. Because Abram obeyed my voice and guarded my charge. So here's the condition. Because Abram obeyed my voice and guarded my charge, my commandments, my laws, and my Torah. If you will do just that, obey his voice, guard his commandments, and keep them, look what can be given to you. Abram just got planet Earth, but there's a whole universe out there that is still up for sale. And it's waiting for you to be obedient before you're given. See, that looks like a sun. That's actually a galaxy. Right? There's the Milky Way, but there's another galaxy way over there that looks like the Milky Way, but it's condensed into one little ball that looks like a star, but it's actually a galaxy. It could be yours. Stop thinking, poor little me, my little poor miserable conditions here in Sinai or wherever it is that you're from, and start thinking bigger. These are the promises you're giving. I showed you before how close we are to that time. We're so stinking close, it's unbelievable. You know, and no disrespect, but look how many people are learning. No, I'll teach one. I don't care. But this place should be, we should have a stadium full. That's the reward. So we're going to go back a little bit now. Okay, actually we're coming forward slowly. So Genesis 24:60. Again, this is the blessing to Rebekah. Let your sister become, this is her relative saying this as she's about to go away with Jacob. Let your sister become the mother of thousands of tens of thousands, and let your seed possess the gates of them who hate you. Again, there's the blessings being repeated by other people. Okay? Now, Genesis 25, 22, we're reading about the birth of Esau and Jacob. This is the best picture I could get.
I love it.
Couldn't find anything. This is a desperate picture. Genesis 25, 22. And within her the children struggled together, and she said, if all is right, why am I this way? So she went to ask Jehovah. And Jehovah said to her, so, here she is. I got a problem. And she goes to Jehovah, and he tells her. Like, wow. That's huge. Boom, just read over top of it. Jehovah talked to her. 2 nations, this is the answer she got. 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 people shall be separated from your body. And 1 people shall be stronger than the other, and the older serve the younger. Remember this. The older serve the younger. This is before they're even born. Okay? And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, so they called his name Esau. And after his brother came out with his hand holding on to Esau's heel, so his name was called Jacob. Okay? Now, how many women do you know give birth standing up?
Somebody's got a good imagination.
That's right. Okay, so now, we just read what Jehovah said. So this is going on in Rebecca's mind. Genesis 25, 27. The boys grew up, and Esau became a man knowing how to hunt, a man of the field. While Jacob was a complete man, dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau because he ate his wild game, but Rebekah loved Jacob. So we have a problem in the family. We have favoritism, obvious favoritism between the parents. And Esau said to Jacob, please, okay, so he's coming back from hunting. Please feed me with that red stew, for I am weary. That is why his name is called Edom. But Jacob said, sell me your birthright today. So this is where the Jews get that negotiating strategy from. And so do we. And Esau said, look, I'm going to die, so why should I have a birthright if I'm dead? Then Jacob says, swear to me today. And he swore to him and sold his birthright to Jacob. So Jacob has now received the birthright. But Jehovah's already given it to him before he was born. Jacob then gave Esau bread and stew for lentils. So this confirms the deal. Here's the agreement. Now here's the part of the deal. We've exchanged funds, which is bread and lentil and red soup. And he ate it, drank, and rose up and left. Thus Esau despised his birthright. So that's key to important, because by law, all those blessings that Abraham and Isaac received were to go to him. But before they were born, Jehovah said they were going to him. Go ahead.
Why was Esau about to die?
Because he was famished from hunting and not eating.
I had read that it was Nimrod that was out to kill him because...
Okay, you're reading the Quran.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Who? No kidding.
Yeah, you're
That was a
probably-
commentary. I thought it was a gesture or something.
Okay, you may have me there, I'm not 100% sure. But the Quran says Esau was the one that was sacrificed. Or Ishmael was the one that was sacrificed. And Esau was the one that was cheated by Jacob. And they also say that Esau or Ishmael was the one that killed Nimrod. And all mythology point that Nimrod was killed by Shem. All of it. No mythology ever points to Esau or Ishmael. Only the Quran, which was written well after all mythology was already established, right, in the 700s. So check your source, check when that source was written, and compare it to the other sources that were written previously to that. So I would say that your source is bogus. Okay? So continuing with the blessings now. And this is, y'all know this story, right? Everyone knows this story. Do you want to skip this part? We know that Jacob's coming in, and I won't read it. It's Genesis 27, 1 to 42. Okay? So Rebecca hears that Isaac is getting old, about to die, and he sends Esau out to get some wild game to prepare for him so he can bless the blessing upon him. But Rebecca remembers what Jehovah told her. Okay? So Esau goes out, she tells Jacob, go and kill me a sheep so I can make it for your father, and I'll put the sheepskin on you, so that or a goat skin on you so that you feel rough like your brother. Isaac got to be really thick. You know, that's where some of us get our thickness from. But, so this is what's going on here, and Isaac checks him out, feels him, and feels like Esau, he smells like Esau, but he sounds like Jacob. Right? So he blesses him anyway. The key thing here to remember is all the blessings that went to, well, we should read the blessing part. So let me go down here and see what the blessings are. Let's start Genesis 27:29. Let people serve you, and nations, now nations will bow down to you. Be master over your brothers, not just your one brother, so that tells you that there's more than one brother here. Masters over your brothers, and let your mother's sons bow down to you. So Rebekah had other children. Cursed be those cursing you, and blessed be those blessing you. And it came to be as soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, and Jacob had hardly left the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau, his brother, came in from his hunting. Now here's something very interesting. You just blessed the wrong kid, right? Why didn't Isaac just take it back and say, well, no, I'll take it back and I'll bless Esau?
You can't.
Why?
Because everything has to go to the firstborn in.
No. Esau's the firstborn.
I know, but he thought that was the firstborn, so he.
Well, he didn't do it though. Why didn't he just take it back?
Because it's a contract. It's kind of like.
He made a vow.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
He spoke the word. Once the word goes out of your mouth,
Yeah.
right? This week's newsletter is talking about the tongue, the power of the tongue. The smallest member of your body, which is the most evilest part of your body. Because it's both blesses and curses in the same breath. Once that word's gone out,
That's it.
Even in the New Testament, you can give curses.
the tongue does, yes.
James talks.
Yeah. It's not supposed to, but it does. Right? I'm not saying you are to curse.
No.
But that's what the tongue does. So one minute they're praising you up, and the next minute they're cursing you out. And I get that all the time in emails. One day they're, yeah, that was a great, and then the next week, oh, you're an idiot. Right? It's the same type of
It's
thing.
a balance thing.
Well, but Jacob, Jehovah spoke, okay? Jehovah spoke, and the word went out. And all this stuff came about. He never took his word back. But once that word goes out, it's out. I can't, once you've heard it come out of my mouth, I can't take it back. It's gone.
Yeah. It's in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Cyberspace.
If you go that, yeah, it's out there. So we couldn't take it back. And it says that once Isaac realized what he'd done, he trembled here. Somewhere in there. Anyway,
33, then Isaac trembled. Verse
yes,
33.
it trembled exceedingly. So who did I just bless? I can't take it back, even if it had gone to some shepherd. So this was a huge thing. And so that's important for you to realize that when you say something, once it comes out of your mouth, it's too late. To say I'm sorry, just doesn't cut it. You still slice that person to pieces with your tongue. Be careful what you say. That's one of the points I want to make here. So then here's another thing. Isaac still had to bless Esau. So read Esau's blessing. Psalm 38. Have you only one blessing, my father? Bless me. Me too, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said to him, see, your dwelling is in the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of the heavens from above. And by your sword you are to live, and serve your brother. And it shall be, now listen to this part. And it shall be, when you grow restless, that you shall break his yoke from your neck. So, what's going on in the world right now?
Restless.
Who is? The Arabs.
Yeah.
It's called the Arab Spring, right?
Yeah.
What is the Arab Spring doing? Yeah. What's the Arab Spring all about? Started in Tunisia, went to Egypt, went to Yemen, went to Iran, got squashed, went to Syria, still fighting it out. What's going on? They're throwing off all the dictators that were pro-US and pro-Israel. You know, pro is too strong a word, but yeah. Okay? And now they're putting in their people who are anti-US, anti-Israel. The guy that's about to get in there for Egypt right now is in the Muslim Brotherhood. And he said, this caliphate, he's already calling it a caliphate. The capital of this caliphate is not Cairo. This was in the news 2 days ago. The capital of this caliphate was not Cairo. And for the tape, that's June 7th, 2012. The capital is not Medina. It's not Mecca. The capital is Jerusalem. And we will all march. And the crowds went crazy over this. You're seeing that prophecy right here in Isaac being fulfilled in your very eyes. Esau is throwing off that yoke of bondage, of serving, and so the blessings are that people serve you and nations bow down to you and be master over your brothers. Okay, you already talked about that. But, okay, and remember, Jacob didn't have to do any of this stuff because it was already told to Rebekah before he was even born that he was going to be the one. He was going to be the one to be blessed. So here we have these nations now throwing off that blessing. And they all have a similar military thing. I'll save that. That's another teaching altogether. We're not going to go there today.
They're doing the same thing that they did in Hitler's time, you know, with the 1 man.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Hitler was best buddies with the Gustav of Jerusalem, and the Gustav of Jerusalem was, where is he? Do I even have him up here? I can't remember his name. The guy that died, made the peace with Israel. Arafat was his uncle. Anyway, he taught all these guys how to military, and he brought the military to Bosnia, who did the same type of thing following Hitler. And the Bosnians killed more Jews than anyone did, and they were ruthless about it. And that's because they just hated them with a passion. Hitler hated them, but the Arabs hated them with a passion. Big difference. Okay. So Genesis 28 now. So we're continuing with these prophecies of blessings for his children. And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and commanded him. So now he got a little bit older. Not much. Don't take a wife of the daughters of Canaan, which is what Esau did. And they were really sad about that. And when Esau saw how sad it was, he then began to take daughters from the children of Ishmael. Arise, go to Padan Aram, to the house of Bethuel, your mother's father, and take a wife for yourself from there, from the daughter of Laban, your mother's brother. And Jehovah bless you. So here's another blessing. And make you bear fruit and increase you, and you shall become an assembly of people. So hang on. This is now a nations and great nations and sovereigns, and now an assembly of peoples. What's that?
Nation.
What?
Would it be a nation?
It's assemblies of people.
Church?
Not a church.
Wow.
Ecclesia.
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
That's where the
Not
church
the same
steps in,
word?
and this is where the church tries to slip that in. Sir, see, that's where we come in right there. It's not
Congregation.
A synagogue.
No, an assembly, confederacy.
Confederacy.
We're talking about nations, confederacy,
Not a republic.
It's in
not a republic.
Psalms 84.
What's that?
83.
81.
Talks, 81, it talks about confederacy against Israel.
That's 83, that's a different thing. But this book, his children will be a confederacy of nations. Who fits that bill?
The Arabs.
Huh?
Arabs.
United Nations.
No.
Commonwealth, British Commonwealth.
Yes,
Commonwealth.
right? Do you see how it's all fitting here?
Yeah.
Okay, like I'm not trying to pull teeth, I'm not trying to slip anything by you yet, right?
Yeah.
I caught that yet.
Yes. See, that's good, you're supposed to pick up on every word. 28:4, and give you the blessings of Abraham, so all the blessings are now gone from Abraham to Jacob, to you and your seed with you, so that you inherit the land of your sojournings, which Elohim gave to Abraham. Okay? So now we're going to read a little bit about Jacob. And Jacob goes out, he's on his way up to Padan Aram, and he gets tired and he goes for a sleep. Genesis 28:12. And he dreamed and saw a ladder set up on earth, and its top reached to the heavens. I could have got some really stupid pictures about all this stuff, but I thought this one was more focused. And saw messengers of Elohim going up and down on it. And see, Jehovah stood above it and said, I am Jehovah Elohim of Abraham, your father, and the Elohim of Isaac. So here's Jehovah talking to Jacob in a dream. That would be so awesome. And the land on which you are lying, I give it to you and your seed. So he's in Israel. He's in Canaan. And your seed shall be as the dust of the earth. So here's that blessing again, being reinforced. The dust of the earth. And you shall break forth to the west and the east, to the north and the south. And all the clans of the earth, again, there it is again, shall be blessed in you and in your seed. And see, I am with you and shall guard you wherever you go, and shall bring you back to this land. So there's that being brought back to this land. And Abram was told in the 4th generation, or the 4th period of time, which is 4th millennial day. For I'm not going to leave you until I have done what I have spoken to you. So not until he is, oh, I just got something new. Not going to leave you. When does Jehovah leave Israel? Yes, he does.
Oh, he does in Ezekiel.
It says, and I forget where it says it,
Yeah.
I think either Daniel or Revelation, that says that Michael stood up. When the archangel Michael stands up, who does Michael represent? He's the guardian angel of Israel. When Michael stands up, what does that mean? Well, what's Michael doing the rest of the time?
Fighting.
Fighting Satan, guarding, and making doors open for Israel, and protecting and doing all this stuff. And he's busy. But when he stands up, what does that mean?
Protecting.
He just put his sword away, and he stands up. Now let's see what you do without me.
The protection is gone.
Protection's gone. And I just read that here. This is good. Wow.
Well, didn't
For I'm not going to leave you until I've done what I have spoken to you. So now all these blessings have happened to the descendants of Jacob. They've all happened. Now Michael stands up and the curses are going to start to be fulfilled. Is that happening right now? Yeah, sort of, kind of. Is it happening in the way that I think is going to happen? No, not yet. Very close to it. So that's, I had to teach myself here sometimes.
But didn't God leave Israel at one point when they were wandering with the pillar of fire ahead of them and the wind? Didn't he leave them at that point?
Leave?
Yeah. Yes, because, no,
You have to give me the scripture then, I don't know.
I'll look it up, but I'm pretty sure I read that God left and there was an angel that took his place and led Israel
Okay.
the rest of the way. Because he said, if I, or was that just after the golden calf? I don't know, I read it somewhere where God said, if I continue to lead these people, I will do harm to them. So he left and an angel took his place. I'll look it up for you.
That'd be good. That'd be good to tie into this and what I just said about Michael.
Yeah,
standing
that's
up.
what I mean.
You know,
Yeah.
just totally off, not planning to talk about that, but interesting. Okay, so we have this dream. And when Jacob wakes up, then he takes and he blesses the stone. And verse 18, Genesis 28. And Jacob rose early in the morning and took the stone that he had put his head on, that he put at his head, set it up as a standing column, and poured oil on it. So this is the rabbit trail. We're now going to follow this stone. Some of you know where I'm going. You've been there. That's fine. But
This altar? Did he not make an altar right there?
not with a stone. And he called the name of that place Beth El. Beth is house El of God. However, the name of that city had been Luz previously. Now, on these tours that I do with Abby Ben Mordecai, this is one of the places that he takes them to. I'm hoping he does it this year. We didn't do it last year, but I'm hoping he does this year. You listen, Abby? And Jacob made a vow saying, seeing Elam is with me and has kept me in this way, that I am going and has given me bread to eat and a garment to put on, when I return to my father's house in peace, and Jehovah has been my Elohim, then this stone which I have set as a standing column shall be in Elohim's house. And of all that you give me, now listen carefully, this is what we talked about yesterday again, of all that you give me, I shall certainly give you a tenth to you. A tenth of what? His children. A tenth. So when I tell you, as I said in the process of Abraham, or I tell you in that teaching I do about that, the tenth that he's giving him are the 30 million Americans, and 270 million Americans are going to die. That's where this comes from. This is the promise. So this is serious. Things that come out of your mouth, be careful what you say. Genesis 31 now. Genesis 31:10. And it came to be at the time when the flocks conceived that I lifted my eyes and looked in a dream and saw the rams which leaped upon the flocks were streaked, speckled, and molted. And the messenger of Elohim spoke to me in a dream, saying, Jacob. And I said, here I am. And he said, lift up your eyes now, see, all the rams which leap on the flocks are streaked, speckled, and molted, for I have seen all that Laban is doing to you. Now rise up and get out of this land and return to the land of your relatives. Why have I got that there? I don't know why I got that there. So this is probably a slide I can do without. Okay. Here's where Bethel is, right there. Here's Jerusalem. And it's about 10 miles to the north. Okay? So I just wanted to show that to you. So he says, arise, go up to Bethel. Now we're now in Genesis 35, Genesis 35:1. Arise, go up to Bethel and dwell there and make an altar there to El, who appeared to you when you fled the face of Esau your brother. And Jacob said to his household and to all who were with him, put away the foreign mighty ones. Okay, so that's very strange in itself. Who's got the foreign mighty ones here? Why would there be foreign mighty gods already in the house of Jacob? Who brought them? Rachel brought them. Rachel. Rachel had a proclivity to worship gods as statues. That's why she didn't conceive. That's why she was punished. And that's why after Benjamin was born, she died. She died at childbirth. And you'll find that her children have the same proclivity today to want to have statues. Other gods. And that's why the children of who got the blessing, as you know, was Joseph, come from Rachel. They got this blessing, and they still go out and worship other gods. So this is put away the foreign mighty ones that are among you, and cleanse yourself and change your garments. So Jacob took those statues and buried them under the oak of Mamre in a cave. There's still a cave underneath those trees in Mamre today. So I think it'd be neat to go and dig this stuff up, but I don't think I really want to find this stuff. That'd be kind of neat because you know it's almost 3,000 years old.
Where's
And-
Myanmar on there?
Mamre,
Is it listed?
Mount Gerizim is right here somewhere. So Mamre is somewhere in here. It's near Nazareth and Shechem. Or not Shechem, yeah, Shechem.
Sure.
Is that where he buried Rachel too?
I don't know off the top of my head right now. Verse 3. Let us arise and go up to Bethel, and let me make there an altar to El, who answered me in the day of my distress, and has been with me in the way which I have done. So they gave Jacob all the mighty foreign ones, which were in their hands, and all their earrings, which were in their ears. And I don't understand what the difference is with the earrings. And Jacob hid them under the terebinth tree, which is near Shechem. And they departed. And the fear of Elam was upon the cities that were all around them, and they did not pursue the sons of Jacob. And Jacob came to Luz, that is Bethel, which is in the land of Canaan, and he and all the people who were with him. And he built there an altar and called the place El Bethel, because there Elam appeared to him, and he fled from the face of his brother. Now we're going down a rabbit trail here. This is why we're doing this. And Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, died, and she was buried below Bethel under the terebinth tree. So the name of it was called Elon Bakuth. And Elam appeared to Jacob again when he came from Padan Aram and blessed him. And Elam said to him, "Your name is Jacob. Your name is no longer called Jacob, but Israel is your name." So he called his name Israel. And this is where we get the name Israel from. So it's not just something invented, it's given to him by Jehovah. And Elam appeared, to Jacob again. No, I read that. And Elam said to him, "I am El Shaddai, bear fruit and increase, a nation and," okay, so now we had nations before, and we had an assembly of nations, so now it's a nation and a company of nations. Nations shall appear from you, and sovereigns come from your body. And the land which I gave Abram and Isaac I give to you, and to your seed after you I give this land. So there's the blessing. Okay, so it's the nations and a company of nations. And verse 14. And Jacob set up a standing column in the place where he had spoken with him, a monument of stone, and he poured a drink offering on it, and he poured oil on it. And Jacob called the name of this place from where Elam spoke to him, Bethel. Okay? That's just that same place. So now we're going to follow this stone for a little bit. In 2 Kings 11:12, and he brought up the son of the sovereign and put on him the diamond, or the crown and the diamond and witness. And they set him up to reign and anointed him, and they clapped their hands and said, "Let the sovereign live. Today that is, long live the king." And this is where it comes from. Verse 13. Then Athaliah heard the noise of the runners, the people, and she came to the people into the house of Jehovah. Athaliah was trying to usurp the crown at that time. So this is what's going on. And looked and saw the sovereign standing by a column, according to the ruling of the chiefs. So there's this column that Jacob has set up, is now it's in the house of Jehovah, where they now anoint the kings of Israel. Interesting. Again in 2 Kings 23 now. And the king sent, and they gathered to him all the elders of Judah and of Jerusalem. And the king went up to the house of Jehovah, and all the men of Judah and all the people of Jerusalem with him, and the priests and the prophets and all the people. So everyone's coming. This is a huge thing that's taking place. From the small even to the great. And he read the words of the book of the covenant, which was found in the house of Jehovah in their ears. And the king stood by a pillar and made a covenant before Jehovah. The same pillar that Jacob had made the covenant where the anointed, after talking to Jehovah, is now where the kings are anointed. The same pillar is here today.
And of course, they took it away. I don't know where.
Jacob's pillar was anointed by Jacob and promised to be in Jehovah's house. It was later used by the kings of Israel as a witness pillar. A pillar stone by which all the kings of Judah were anointed kings of Judah When the last king of Judah was killed by the Babylonians, Jeremiah the prophet took the 2 surviving princesses and the stone and some other artifacts and went to Egypt, and then to Spain, and then to Ireland, where the princess was married to Eochiad Harriman, who was the 7th son of Melissus of Spain, but the 3rd of the 3 sons who left any issue. From him, the descendants of the kings of nobility, the gentry in the kingdoms of Connaught, Dalriada, Leinster, Meath, Argyll, Ossory, and of Scotland, since the 5th century of Ulster, since the 4th century of England, and from the reign of the King Henry II down to the present time. The stem of the Irish nation from Herman down to Arthur in Near, monarch of Ireland in the 2nd century. Jacob's stone that we just read about has followed this procession throughout all of history.
Very
And these people are celebrating. This is a replica that they're carrying. That's the original. This is a replica for a ceremony. That picture is in the 1970s. Why don't we hear about this stuff?
I heard the stone was taken back to Israel.
Not back to Israel. That stone is called Olam Fodla. So Liaphale does not translate as big stone, or it does translate as big stone, and it's Gaelic for stone of destiny.
I heard that in England when Queen Elizabeth was crowned, that the stone was underneath the throne.
It was supposed to be. It was not for the
Oh, it
Queen of
wasn't?
England. Queen Elizabeth, it was not this last time. I don't know why, but I've read that it was not. So this stone was made by King Edward. This is the throne of King Edward. King Edward happens to be one of my ancestors. He's the one that took this stone from Scotland, from Robert the Bruce. And we're going to get into some of that stuff here today a little bit too. That's another little rabbit trail that I found fascinating, that they knew this back then. Robert Bruce, this is 1290, 1300 AD. But that's where the stone was. Okay? Let's see what I got here. Jacob's pillar stone long resided as a coronation stone in St. Edward's Chapel in Westminster Abbey in Britain. No other object has been given such high honors. In Westminster Abbey, under the throne of Edward I, lies a stone 26 by 16 by 10.5, a purplish red sandstone of a type not found in the UK, but found in Judea and Moab. The stone has 2 very worn iron rings and has a great crack in it. All the monarchs of Great Britain, since its removal from Scone, which is Scotland, 700 years before, 1996, have been crowned on it apart from Mary Queen of Scots. It was so esteemed by the British people that when Edward III was forced to return the crown jewels and this stone to Scotland in 1328, there were relics of London, and only the regalia were returned. Prior to its removal from Scotland, all the kings there had been crowned upon the stone. It having been moved from Ireland, from Tara via Dunstaffnage, Iona, and finally to Scone, which is Perth today. It left the hands of the Irish in the 5th century, where for 1,000 years prior, all the kings of Ireland had been crowned upon this insignificant-looking piece of rock.
Wow.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Amazing.
They even made a movie of it where these kids take that. Take rock.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Story of Destiny.
Where was I here? Irish legend and history recount. So there's a book in Ireland called the Ancient Annals of Ireland. I've read it. It's a hard book to get. It's an old book. They don't print it very often. But you go to the beginning, and it talks about this stone coming to Ireland in about chapter, 3 or 4, and talks about the king before that and the kings after. But the stone was so significant. And Queen Scota, who came there with him. That's where we get Scotland from, named after her, in honor of her. Irish legend and history recount that the 6th century on the northeastern coast of Ireland near Carrickfergus, a sage arrived from Egypt via Ireland. He was accompanied by a secretary named Baruch and a young princess, the other princess having died en route. They brought with them a mysterious chest holding a harp, the emblem of the royal house of David, and a motif found today in the arms of Ireland and in the royal coat of arms of the House of Windsor, a banner in a large rough stone. The name of the aged seer was Olam Fodla, wonderful seer. The secretary, Simon Baruch, or Barak, and the princess, Tamar Tethia. This princess married the royal family of Ireland. Even the royal family of Ireland at this time, according to the ancient records, itself was from the tribe of Judah. So this was a double blessing here. They're already from the tribe of Judah. We haven't even covered that yet. And now this thing, so we're off on a little rabbit trail, and we're blending in stuff here that we haven't even covered yet. I'm going to cover it all here, hopefully shortly. But I wanted to spend a little time on this stone. So at precisely the time in history, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had brought an end to the dynasty of the house of David. The kings of Judah, the sons of the last king Zedekiah, were slain in front of him. Only his two daughters were spared. At the same time that that happened, within a few years' time, these same group of people show up in Ireland, in the Irish annals. One ends, they disappear because we don't have any, and they show up over here, and then begins another story over here. Two different books. The Bible says it ends here. But they show up over here in the ancient annals of Ireland at the exact same time. That's so amazing. It's just a coincidence, right? It's just another coincidence that there's a tomb in Ireland called Jeremiah's tomb, the prophet Jeremiah, Olam Fodla, near the same place. So, here's the coronation of Queen Elizabeth. She's sitting on King Edward's chair,
No stone.
but there was no stone in it. Okay, so it's 1953. She just celebrated her 60th year. Did you watch it? It was such an amazing thing. All the regalia, the pouring on of oil. So, we have this great history of this stone. This is a replica set up at the place in Ireland now. So they know about it. So we read that. Now, before I go on here, what did Yeshua say when he rode in on the donkey just before Passover that year? All the Jews were saying, the high priest were saying, stop your people from saying it. Stop them from saying what?
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hosanna in the highest. What are they doing?
Praising
They're praising who?
Priest shall come.
No, they're praising the King.
King coming in.
King Yeshua.
Yeah.
The King, he rides in on a white donkey, right? A colt.
Yeah.
What does Yeshua say?
Even the stones will cry out if they don't.
If they shut up, even these very stones will cry out and speak. Why would he say that?
Because it's true.
Have you ever heard a stone speak?
No, but they carry memory frequencies. I just want to.
Let's go back here. Oops, wrong way. This stone
Was that in Luke?
was underneath every throne in Israel for the king. Was a column that said, there's a legend in Ireland that when a red-headed boy passes by, a red-headed freckled boy goes past this stone, the stone speaks. That's kind of a strange legend to have. What red-headed boy passed through Ireland or passed by the stone?
David?
David was one, yes.
But he had red hair.
Who else? No, that's not what we're talking about. Yeshua did.
Did he have red hair?
And when Yeshua went by the stone spoke.
So he had red hair for us?
Yes.
That's why we're not gonna recognize them. That's why we should never be hanging pictures of them, hanging them on the wall.
That's right. So Yeshua said something that he already knew, that this stone would cry out, because this stone had cried out before. And that legend is around that stone today. So, just little wee tidbits, like I can't prove this, not written in, the Bible, and
Not written in
there it is. But what I'm trying to do is the Bible is your bones.
Yeah.
The Bible is your skeleton.
It's got a bigger picture in it.
But here's a little bit of meat to put on there, right?
Yeah.
There's some stuff that you can see that's on the side. And what I like to do, I want to make the Bible alive.
Yeah.
Like, I hate boring numbers and chronologies, right?
Yeah.
So, now, Jacob had 12 sons. And from Leah, he had Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, and Dinah. And there's the birth order that they came in, right? Reuben and Simeon, first, second, third, and fourth. Rachel didn't have any, so then she gives Bilhah. And she has Dan and Naphtali. Leah gets jealous, gives Zelbah, and has Gad and Asher. Then finally Rachel has Joseph, then Benjamin, then Rachel dies. So, these are where all the 12 tribes come from. This is the nations that are going to be coming out of these people. So here's the blessing being taken away from Reuben because he slept with Jacob's concubine, right? So now the blessing's gone from Reuben, which is sure gone, and it then is given to Joseph. But Joseph disappears and is shipped away, and Jacob thinks he's dead. But then he finds out that they're alive. Not just alive, he's got 2 boys. So now we're going to get into the blessing of the 2 boys, because the blessing has now been given from Reuben to Joseph, but he just bypasses Joseph, he's going to give it to the 2 boys. But he does something very significant, he crosses his hands. Genesis 48:15, and he blessed Joseph and said, Elam before whom my father Abram and Isaac walked, the Elam who has fed me all my life long to this day. The messenger who has redeemed me from all evil, bless the youths. So now he's blessing the youth. And that my name, so the name of Israel, be upon the youth. Be upon them, and the name of my fathers, Abraham and Isaac. So Isaac too is a name that's going to be upon these children. And Abraham. So these are clues we were to look for. Because now what we're going to start following these people through history. Well, I started to do that, and then I got off another rabbit trail. But that's what you can do. Once you know what their names are, you can follow them. I'm probably going to come back to that. And let them increase in multitude in the midst of the earth. And when Joseph saw that his father had laid his right hand on the head of Ephraim, the younger son, it was evil in his eyes. And he took hold of his father's hand and tried to remove it and put it on the head of Manasseh. And Joseph said to his father, Not so, my father, for this one is the firstborn, and your right hand is on his head. But his father refused and said, I know, my son, I know. He also becomes a people, and he also is great. And yet his younger brother is greater than he, and his seed is to become the completeness of the nations. And he blessed them on that day, saying, In you Israel shall bless, saying, He will make you as Ephraim and as Manasseh. Thus he put Ephraim before Manasseh. So we're following the blessing now and seeing where it went. So while the spirit of prophecy was still on Jacob, he called his other sons in together to tell them what their posterity should become in the last days. Notice, last days. Among other prophetic utterances of which we shall speak later was the following concerning Judah and the scepter was not to depart from Judah. What is the scepter? The king, the royalty. Where is the king of Judah today? You're right. Because when most people who don't know about the king in England or the queen in England, they look and say, God's a liar, Judah doesn't have a king. Therefore the church is a replacement of Judah because they, blah, blah, blah. And you know the same song and dance. the scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. Unto Judah we are to gather. Whoa, all you anti-Jews, anti-Semites, we're to gather to Judah. They're the magnet. Very interesting. What you're reading here is the constellation of Leo. If you look up there, this, between his feet is with a star called Regalis. It's still between his feet. This is a prophecy. It's up there. It's in the skies. Yes.
But that phrase, the scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet until Shiloh come. That's Christ, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So wouldn't it be, and unto him, that is Christ, shall the gathering of the
Yes.
people be?
So where's the king now?
In heaven.
Doesn't do us any good here on earth.
Oh, yes.
Well, not physically. Like, I know what you're saying. Yes, you're right. But we need to have that king. We've got some other kings in the way there. Right? So this is actually, yes, it's when he came, but he hasn't come yet.
At that point.
He comes at the end of the 6th millennial day. The 7th millennium is when he comes. So that's, and I showed you, just as you walked in, how close we are to that. Very close.
Okay, but then you're saying Shiloh is not Christ?
Yes, I am saying he is.
Okay. Because he already came once,
He came once.
but not as a
But he
king.
didn't set up his kingdom,
Okay.
right? And it's his kingdom that we're looking at.
Okay.
It's his mandate to come twice.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah. And the
Okay.
first time he didn't come as king, he came as savior.
that's right.
Okay.
49:1, Genesis 49. And Jacob called his sons and gathered together and said, I declare to you what shall befall you in the last days. Gather together and hear, you sons of Jacob, and listen to Israel, your father. Okay, so what we were talking about yesterday about heraldry and knowing your heraldry and being able to identify who you are by your heraldry, this is what we're getting into. So this comes, so you've seen the blessings so far. They've come to Jacob, now he's distributed the Manasseh and Ephraim, and now he's telling the other sons. So here's the emblems that they come up with that represent each of the tribes. Reuben, you are my firstborn, my power. You know, you're my firstborn son. My whole energy went into you. The beginning of my strength, and excellency, and exaltation, and excellency of power. Let's see where I go here. Okay, so, but he didn't measure up. So, Reuben, his symbol is this. It's a man, has excellency of power. He also has wavy lines there. And I couldn't find one of the wavy lines, but the wavy lines represent his instability. So we have comments from certain people that I've quoted here, and I'll just read them. Reuben's primary emblem was a man representing his excellency of power. His secondary emblem is recorded as being wavy lines, representing unstable waters. I won't say who that's from because I'll give it away. Reuben dominates the Israelite emblem in France. So this is a symbol you see in a lot of French. So it's standing on either side of the crest, one side or the other. Especially northeastern France is heavily represented by the Ribeirari Franks, as bearers of the ensign of Reuben. And that's from the Art Davidic. Jacob referred to Reuben as his might, my might, and the excellency of dignity. France has portrayed these characteristics to the world in the past. She was the greatest colonial power behind Britain and called the Queen of Culture. Encyclopedia Americana notes that during the 70 years of the Third Republic, 1875 to 1945, more than 100 cabinets succeeded one another. That's instability in government. They can't rule, they're always fighting for it. Each tenure of office lasted less than 8 months.
Sounds like Italy too.
Sounds like Italy too. Jacob also goes on to say to Reuben that you shall not excel because you went up to your father's bed, then defiled it, he went up to my couch. So, interesting to note that if the French are Reuben, what's the most romantic language in the world? French. Right? Again, referring back to going up to the bed. Just that's enough, right? Well, I do have the symbol of the thing right there. And there's the last half of the prophecy for Reuben. So, Shimeon. Anyone got a seal, a sword in their family crest? The sword or arm raised up. Shimeon and Levi are brothers. Their weapons are implements of violence. Let my being not... Can you imagine your father saying this to you? Let my being not enter their council. Let my esteem not be united to their assembly. Because they slew a man in their displeasure, and they lamed an ox in pleasure. Cursed be their displeasure, for it is fierce, and their wrath, for it is cruel. I divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel. Wow, that would suck.
He's the bad boy.
Hey?
He's the bad boy.
Yeah, that's a symbol. And if you look at many of the symbols in heraldry, this one dominates a lot of them. That's because it's spread through all of Israel. So Levi was scattered amongst the tribes because Levi had no inheritance, and Simeon was also scattered. And Simeon is the military of most nations today. Here's another symbol for Simeon and Levi. Fortifications. You'll see that on most family tree emblems. To Judah, and your brothers praise you. Your hand is on the neck of your enemies, and your father's children bow down before you. Yehuda is the lion's cub. Count how many times it says Judah here, or lion here. Judah is the lion's cub. From the prey you have gone up, my son. He bowed down, he crouched like a lion. There's the second time. And like a lion, third time, who does not rouse him. So there's 3 lions mentioned right there. That's where we get the 3 lions as a symbol.
What does it mean if you have one lion?
Same thing, it represents Judah. The scepter shall not turn aside from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet until Shiloh comes, and to him is the obedience of the peoples. Now Judah takes that and really tries to make it stick. Right? You got to obey Judah. That's why we obey the rabbis. Not. That's why we do whatever they say. Not. Even if it's wrong. Not. Okay? But that's where they get this from. And I've had to argue this, and people say you don't believe in the Bible because you don't do it. Binding his donkey to the vine, and his donkey's colt to the choice vine, he washed his garments in wine, and his robes in the blood of grapes. His eyes are darker than wine, and his teeth whiter than milk. Okay, I'm not sure what the rest of that means. So we got single line for Judah, we got a triple line for the royal line, and we got the scepter for the royal line. Now, you got a line in your symbol. Okay? Now, if you look at most symbols, most heraldry, they have a lot of lines in there. The ones with a crown on it are royal line. The ones without a crown on it are Jewish line. Okay? Yeah, like that one. So it doesn't have a crown on it.
No crown, that means Jewish.
We're going to get in a little more here in a bit. Zebulun dwells at the seashores. He is for a haven for ships, and his border is unto Zion. This symbol dominates Holland. Zebulun are the Dutch people. Let's see, won't get into that too much. Let's just move on. Issachar is a strong donkey lying between 2 burdens. And he saw that a resting place was good, and that the land was pleasant, and he inclined his shoulder to bear a burden, and became a subject to slave labor. So they're saying that that Issachar is today Finland, because it's between Sweden, which was a dominant power, and Russia. So that's what they're saying. Other people say that it's something to do with Germany, but I don't know. This one I don't have a sure answer on. Dan. Dan rightly rules his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan is a serpent by the way, an adder in the path that bites the horse's heel so that its riders fall backward. I have waited for your deliverance, O Jehovah. So, this is a symbol of Dan. And Dan, they say, is like a serpent's trail. You can follow Dan throughout all of history. Everywhere he goes, he calls it Dan something, after his father Dan. The Niper, the Nister. Dan, what other rivers are there in Europe that are called Dan? Denmark. Danube. Yeah. All these things were founded or named by Dan because he was part of the first one there. Dan sailed in ships. The Phoenicians that we hear about in history most likely are made up of Danites, most of them, because the Phoenicians were from Tyre, which is Dan's territory. But the city of Tyre could not supply enough people to man all those ships. But Dan did. Dan's got a great history, which is a rabbit trail that we're not going to go down today, but we could. We could talk about Dan all day. He's got such easy thing to follow in history. But what I want to show you, and we're going to go through the rest of the tribes here, is I want to show you what their names became. So you can follow the names of Israel through history. But Dan is an easy one. Just look for DN something, or something DN, and you'll find that Dan was there. Gad is a riding band. A raiding band raids him, but he raids its heels. Again, I'm not sure what this is, but you're the biggie. What's he say? The Swiss people. Switzerland. Again. Yard and Steve Collins are two people you should look up to follow some of this stuff on. For Asher, the bread from Asher is rich, and he gives delicacies of a foreign. And they're saying that this one is Belgium. 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 Oh, Naphtali. Naphtali is a deer let loose. He gives words of elegance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my mother's.
yeah.
Melissa was right.
What did Naphtali do? Naphtali went to the far eastern edges of captivity, which is now Afghanistan. From there they moved into northern India. This is where we get the caste system from. What's the caste system? The religion of Abraham. Abraham, that's right. And the caste system is the lighter skin you are, the higher in ranking you are. So the lighter skin, the darker skin, and then the very dark skin is the lower caste. That caste system still applies in India today. Bollywood is made up of all light-skinned people. Yes.
It was in a paper yesterday that in a village in India, some thug, that ran the joint, killed somebody from the lowest caste because he came and he drank from the village well, and he wasn't allowed to.
Yeah. So Naphtali then goes out and follows, ends up in western China, and they go up and they come against the China Wall. And then they turn around and they came back. Naphtali becomes known as the White Huns. And they come back into Europe, and then they're called the Visigoths and Goths. And the other tribes are with Naphtali at this time. But Naphtali became a big tribe. So that's one of the things of them. Today, they're mixed in with Sweden and Norway. Benjamin is a wolf that tears in the morning, he eats prey, and at night he divides the spoil. So Benjamin is pictured as a wolf. And they're saying that Benjamin is the Vikings of Scandinavia. is an offshoot. Oh, there's that unicorn. Joseph is an offshoot of a fruit-bearing tree. An offshoot of a fruit-bearing tree by a fountain. His branches run over a wall. And the archers have bitterly grieved him. So what are archers? Archers are those that launch arrows. What the arrows represent? There's a prophecy for our day. What the arrows represent? Nuclear missiles. Okay? Nuclear missiles. The archers have bitterly grieved him, shot at him, and hated him. So Joseph is about to be attacked by nuclear missiles. But his bow remained in strength, so he's not totally wiped out. And his arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty one of Jacob. From there is the shepherd, the stone of Israel. From the El of your fathers who helps you, and by the Almighty who blesses you with blessings in the heavens above, and the blessings of the deep that lies beneath, blessings of the breast and blessings of the womb. The blessings of your father have excelled the blessings of my ancestors up to the limit of the everlasting hills. They are to the head of Joseph and on the crown of the head of him who is separated from his brothers. So Joseph gets these blessings, and these are his symbols. And you'll notice that the unicorn has got a split hoof. Okay? The unicorn was a real animal. It was more like an ox, about the size of a rhinoceros, and it had a single horn that was very dangerous, and it had a split hoof. And they were very notorious as killing lots of people. They were very wild. So Joseph are the Anglo-Saxon peoples today. The British and the Americans, mainly. Here's some more symbols of Joseph. This is Manasseh. Manasseh has the olive tree up the top, 13 olive leaves, 13 olives. He also has the arrows, 13 arrows. And it also has a sheaf of wheat. Remember Joseph's prophecy about the wheat, him standing up and all the other sheaves of wheat bowing down to him? This is where that comes from.
Here it is.
And that symbol of the wheat is in my family tree.
Like that? Trees? Or is that different?
That's olive trees, yes. So when you do in your family tree and heraldry, you'll see combination of these symbols in there. And what that means is two different branches have moved together, or they've got through marriage. Here's Levi. This is the symbol for Levi. You don't see this one very often in heraldry. So this is the 12 breaststones of the high priest. So now we see these symbols combined here. We have the harp. What's the harp?
David.
David. What's the national? What nation uses the harp as a symbol?
Israel.
Ireland.
Oh, yeah.
Ireland. Here we have the royal three lions, right? The royal. This is the royal crest. So that's the royal crest. They got crowns on them. What symbol is that one?
Judah, isn't it?
Oh yeah, right here. Scotland. That's the symbol for Scotland. The red lion standing up. We're going to come back to that in a minute because that's a huge, important history. We have the lion standing up with a crown on it. We have another lion with a crown on it and the crown. And we have the unicorn.
Chains.
Chained. Split hoof. Why is it chained?
Captured.
What?
Captured
Yep. Why?
for control.
You notice that the crown is not on his head, it's around his neck. Israel, the 10 northern lost tribes are represented as the unicorn, who went into captivity and never came back. That's what the chain represents. Judah is the lion. The scepter shall not depart from Judah. Yet there is no king in Israel today, the state of Israel today. But there is one in England, and this is their crown. And notice that the Lion of Scotland is also a lion, which is a symbol of Judah. And we're going to go down that road here in a minute. So all these symbols are very significant, and that's the royal symbol. That's also the symbol for Canada. But we also have another symbol for Canada, which is replace the lion with a stag of Naphtali. Right?
There's also a helmet that you didn't talk about too.
Yeah, that's just a heraldic symbol. The helmet and the plumes here, that's just heraldry, art. It's got no real meaning for us. Like all heraldry have that. Same as all heraldry have this. But here's something else. The red poppy. I almost missed that. The red poppy. That's a symbol for Israel. Yah-Tube talks about that all the time, and for the life of me, I never paid too much attention to it. I should have, but I didn't. So there's the symbols there. Now we're going to go and explore some of this stuff a little bit, but here's something else. Right?
It's the American seal.
American seal. What do they got here?
Olive branch.
How many leaves are there? 13. How many olives are there? 13. How many bars are here? 13. How many feathers are here? 13, I think. How many arrows are here? 13. How many stars are up there? 13. What are we talking about? 13 tribes. What was the first part of the United States?
13 original
13
colonies.
original states. Why is that? That's so amazing how Jehovah's working this all out. He's putting it right there in front of us, and yet we don't see it. What's over top of the eagle?
The sun?
No. What were we talking about yesterday? Over top of Israel, the camp of Israel, the Shekinah.
Okay.
The Shekinah. How did they come up with this? And what's the symbol for Dan? The eagle. So we have Manasseh symbols here. 13 stripes, 13 founding states for the United States. So here's, I'm going to give you, now really pay attention. This is really neat. Okay? You're going to really like this. This is the symbol for Scotland. The red lion is king, right? But Scotland, they gave that up in the 1300s. Again, the unicorn, but the unicorn's got a crown now. So there's the Lion of Judah with its crown. There's the same crest in the middle, only it's a little bit reversed, because the emphasis is on Scotland now, instead of the royal, remember the royal lions here over there? Now it's emphasis on Scotland. So I want to make sure I do this right, so I'm going to read it, okay? The Royal Coat of Arms of the United Kingdom for use in Scotland. In the book of Revelation, in referring to himself, Yeshua says, I am the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. The significance of this is that the Alpha and the Omega are the first and the last letters of the alphabet in the Greek language, in which the New Covenant is written. And by using them as a name for himself, Yeshua is emphasizing his identity with the one eternal, everlasting Jehovah, the first and the last of all things. Right? Still with me? These two letters in the Hebrew alphabet are Aleph and Tav. Right? And in the original Hebrew alphabet, Aleph appears as a diagonal cross. Is right. But get this. And the Tav as an upright cross.
Wow.
Nobody would have known that either.
Wow.
Now, I'm only halfway through this. Let me finish. Thus, when combined as a symbol to express the idea of eternal Jehovah, they would appear like the cross of Britannia's shield, the flags of the Celtic Israelites in northern Spain, and the British flag of the Union Jack. So here we have the cross and the olive and the tav. It's not the cross of Jesus. That's what I used to think it was. That's what so many people think. But it's this one. and it's right there, and it's combined together, and it's right there in the national symbols of Scotland. Now, we're not done yet. In Or Torah, I'm gonna back up, she's gonna love this.
Yeah,
I'm so bummed out on this part.
Yeah, we're talking about the Royal Crest of Scotland right now. We've already explained where that all comes from, but this is the Royal Crest of Scotland. The unicorn represents the 10 tribes of Israel. The lion represents Judah. The crown, this is the symbol for Scotland, because we're talking about the symbol for Scotland, which is a red lion.
Unbelievable.
Okay, so now, I'll go back and read the beginning here, because you guys want to hear it again anyway. The Royal Coat of Arms of the United Kingdom for the use in Scotland. In the book of Revelation, referring to himself, Yeshua says, I am the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. The significance of this is that the Alpha and Omega are the first and last letters in the alphabet of the Greek language, in which the New Covenant, New Testament, was written. And by using them as a name for himself, Yeshua is emphasizing his identity with the one eternal and everlasting Jehovah, the first and the last of all things. Okay, that's interesting. These two letters in the Hebrew alphabet are the Aleph and Tav. And in the original Hebrew alphabet, Aleph appears as a diagonal X, and the Tav appears as a horizontal cross. Okay, now this is a symbol for Scotland. Thus, when combined as a symbol to express the idea of eternal Jehovah, they would appear like the cross on Britannia's shield, which I didn't have up here, and the flags of the Celtic Israelites in northern Spain, who had that as their flag, the Celts. Okay, the Celts, did you catch that? The Celts. And the British flag of the Union Jack. So now here, let me carry on. In Or Torah, which is a book written by Rabbi Dov Ber, the Maggid of Mezrich, which is his title. Now he explained first words in Torah. Bereshit bara Elohim et. Genesis 1:1. Bereshit bara Elohim et. Note that et is untranslatable. Is an untranslatable word used to indicate that a definite, direct object is next. So it's to put emphasis on the next object in a sense. Thus, there needs to be an et before the heavens and the earth. Okay? But Dov, this rabbi, points out that et is spelled Aleph Tav, an abbreviation of the Aleph Bet. Aleph is the first letter in the Hebrew alphabet. Since Jehovah did this before creating the heavens and the earth, the letters are considered to be the primordial building blocks of all creation. Bereshit bara Elohim et. Et is this, the Aleph Tav. The Aleph is the cross being held in the union by the unicorn of Israel, and the Tav is the cross being held by the Lion of Judah. And this is a symbol of the Union Jack of Great Britain.
amazing. That just blows you right away.
Like, I already know a lot of this stuff, and when I read that, preparing for this, that was like, wow.
Holy smokes. Now, when did they first start with these symbols and like this for,
Aleph Tav.
no, I mean, when did they start
Aleph.
making?
Tav.
But when did they make these?
That would be part of the symbol that they had back when they were learning the Hebrew language. The Aleph Tav. This is a symbol for Judah, back in Jacob's day when he was blessing it at the end of it. So these symbols are coming into play back then, right?
Yeah.
So this is before they go into Egypt, or after they've gone into Egypt,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So here we have the mighty lion of Judah, Ephraim. This is England.
Looks like the one we got in the park.
Yeah.
It's the same.
You'll see lions decorating entrances and driveways all over the place.
One is the same one.
So, a covenant people.
We have in Chatham, we had at one of the schools, we had two of those lions. One was, had its paw on the world.
Yep, I
The
know
other
her.
one was holding a lamb,
Yep,
okay? And the Muslims bought the school, all right? So they donated those lions back to the city and they put them in a public park,
yeah.
okay? Because they wanted to get rid of them so bad, they didn't want them there.
They know what the symbol
They know what you were,
represents.
yeah.
The only people that don't know this stuff are the stupid North Americans.
Because we're not told, we're not.
When we take God out of our schools and out of our system, we miss all this stuff.
Yeah.
The rest of the world kind of already knows this stuff. They know the symbology of this stuff.
Now, you said the lion with the paw on the world was Horeb?
Orb? No.
No, okay, sorry. I
The
looked
orb. The orb.
at Orb,
That's
Okay.
the orb. It's one of the symbols of royalty.
okay.
Okay? In Isaiah 49, so we're trying to see where these people are going to go now. We're going to go back again to the beginning and come forward again. Another different rabbit trail. Isaiah 49, a prophet for the end time, Jehovah God saying, listen to me, you islands. Why is he talking to islands? What islands would he be talking to? He's talking to
Separate
Israel.
entities? Okay.
So where's Israel's islands?
In the middle of all the other people? As a
England.
people you're talking about?
England,
Oh, okay.
Ireland.
So literal islands,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. You distant nations. So here's a message. So right here in Isaiah, he's talking to these islands. He's being told where they are. And, you know, they're going to be a part of the covenant of this stuff. So here it is here. In the Hebrew, the word for covenant is beredith. In Judges 8:33 and 9:4 it is used as a proper name, Baal Berith. This means Baal of the covenant. The Hebrew for man is Ish. And if we take the Hebrew word, which means covenant, and anglicize it, it becomes up with Brit. The British people, of course, are often called Brits. The term British literally means in Hebrew, covenant man,
Wow.
or man of the covenant. Really? You guys didn't know that?
Would you want milk?
No,
Are you serious?
I'm seriously kind of surprised to hear you guys all go odd now. Like that's,
Be nice, Joe.
No, I am.
I'm throwing up.
I'm kind of like slapping myself in the face here because so much of this stuff is like old news to me. And I forget that most people don't really know it. So it surprises me to hear it. I'm glad to hear it. But it still surprised me because it just tells me how stupid I've gotten thinking that everyone knows it.
But that's a truth though. Like a teacher who researches it and who studies it becomes used to it and doesn't remember that his students really don't know any of this stuff. We really don't.
Yeah, I guess you're right. So like, I'm going through this, I'm thinking, man, they're all bored. This is really, like, they already know it all, like, I should just back it up. They don't, who cares? They already know it, right? But I'm glad to hear you going, because, okay, that means the rest of the stuff I'm going to show you can make you go, again. So that's good. Thank you. Where was I? Literally, covenant man, or a man of the covenant. The people of Jehovah's covenant, then, the people of Jehovah's covenant, then, that are in the islands, who compose distant nations as compared to Israel in the Middle East, are the British people. So here we are, it's peoples in the islands, covenant people, the British in the islands of Britain, versus the Israel, which is what the world believes today, is the state of Judah and the state of Israel.
Yeah, because that's also known as the British Isles.
Well, the British
All three of
covenant,
them, right?
yes, the British Isles.
Right.
So Isaiah's talking to the isles. This message was sent from Jehovah to them, to us. So again, what I'm showing you now is the scriptures identify where the 10 so-called lost tribes are, or where, back then. But they were never lost. The people of Wales call themselves in ancient Welsh Brith y Brithan. Now, anyone speak Gaelic? Okay, we're going to show you where the Gaelic language comes from. Brith y Brithan, which means Brith of Briton. This means the Covenanters of the land of the covenant. The earlier settlers in Wales and southern England where the Simonoli, the descendants of the tribe of Simeon. Right? So there's Wales. My ancestry comes from right here, Somerset and Devon. Right? Which fits into a lot of this stuff. Well, that's just over here. There's Bristol. We're going to be talking about Bristol here too today. So there's so much wealth of information here that I could literally talk to you for a week, non-stop, 24 hours, 7, and not cover it all. There are so many books out there that you should have, that you should read. And
Look at this one. I want to get them all in.
yeah, you should actually take all this stuff you got out there and just trash it and put this stuff up there. I haven't
Do you know
looked
what?
at
Do you know what? Do you know what? That's my goal eventually.
I haven't looked at what you
My
got out there. I'm
goal-
only teasing.
There's great stuff there. But my goal is to bring some really cutting edge books. This is cutting edge stuff. as
It
far as
is.
I'm concerned. It
And
is.
again, I asked you guys yesterday, I want you to evaluate this. We've gone through the slow, boring stuff now, and we've got, that one little offshoot now, we're doing some other stuff, and it should start to get a little more exciting. But I want you to evaluate this.